welcome to Hat Chat. I'm David Johnson, Master Hatter, D-Bar-J Hat Company in Las Vegas. I'm the D and the J in D-Bar-J hats. We're doing our second part on military cavalry hats and variations. One of the things we need to cover is acorn braids. They signify which branch of the military you're in. The regular gold, we do not have the exact replicas which you'd have in the Civil War. No one really makes them, but these work. This is the yellow gold color. I am told, and don't know for sure, that one of the reasons they made the acorns is when you're riding, it bounces and makes noise on the edge of your brims to help keep you awake. That could be a lore, but that's what I've heard. This here is your cavalry color. This one here, the gold, is like for parade, White House Guard, something special. And then this one here, as you see, these knots, they're called battle knots. After you've been in the right amount of battle time, you can put the battle knots in to show that you're battle proven. Well, for variations, this hat was one style worn by Theodore Roosevelt in U.S. Voluntery Forces, which later became part of the U.S. Army. You see pictures of him in this, and nice, clean, crisp, and one that's seen a lot of water and a lot of time. This is what Theodore Roosevelt was wearing in the U.S. Voluntary Forces just before the 1900s, and he wore this kind of style pretty much most of his career. During that time, which you would see all these hats, you would find variations of smaller hats. Sometimes the supplier wasn't there. This is what they had, usually seen on an officer, usually worn up like this, but also with the front pulled down like you would find in a fedora. You would find all through Civil War, people would crease their hats up in a peak, but this started to become a well-known military hat. Many of the U.S. Voluntary Forces wore this hat. The U.S. Voluntary Forces bought their own uniforms, dressed themselves the way they wanted to be, so you found a lot of variation in what they wore. And the derby, you'll see pictures of Civil War. Many generals decided to wear a derby. They weren't out in the field all the time. They were inside, they were in war rooms, they were at the White House. This was much better. They had their emblems on front, so you'll see this. Again, during this period before World War II, a lot of times you wore what you had when you came. So all these are correct for Civil War up through Indian Wars. Some of the people will argue that point, but you'll see pictures. This is the real deal. So right now, that's kind of it. If you have any questions, you can email me at dbarj@yahoo.com or dbarjhats@yahoo.com. If you have any subjects you'd like to talk about, let me know. Next time we're going to talk about Boston Plains versus the Prescott hat. So next time, make your brand the D-Bar-J brand. Signing off, David Johnson, Master Hatter, D-Bar-J Hat Company.